Good day, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. Today I'm down here in concert. Trying to keep up with Johnny. This is what we call the brush paddock. As you can see why. There's nothing but brush. There was no grass in here. Mainly cedars, thorn trees, and a few elms, but there's some pretty good oaks. I mean, there's a nice one we kept right there. There's another nice young oak right there. So we're keeping all the oak trees and honey locusts that don't have thorns on them. Walnuts. What else? I think that's about it. Yep. I wanted to show you the trunks. This is one I just cut. And Johnny kicked the stump out for me and took the log. Look at that sucker. That's a big tree for Missouri standards. I counted the rings on it. It's got 51 rings, so it's 51 years old. And this is the farm that Jan and I bought. This is the back side of it. And we always called this the brush paddock. And there just wasn't any grass. You could turn the cows in here and they'd be bawling in an hour. There just wasn't any grass in there. And so now that we own it, I decided to go ahead and have Johnny make a Silvo pasture out of the ridges. We're gonna leave the draws alone. I'm not getting down in them draws. I'm gonna leave that for the deer and all the different wildlife to hide out down in there. We're gonna have a ton of rabbit tat in here. Big brush piles for the rabbits. And this is all going to be seeded. We'll put seed down and then we'll unroll hay with a Greg Judy bale unroller on an ATV. We can get down around all these trees. These are all coming out. So what I did is I came in front of Johnny. You can see I cut as high as I could reach. And I found out that's a really good thing to do. First of all, it helps Johnny. On his cage, he can see where he's pushing better. And there's no chance of him breaking the glass out of his skid steer. These are big trees. I've trimmed up, I don't think I counted this morning, I've got 20 some logs. The boys were just asking me this morning about running the mill. Well, we're gonna have something to mill. Well, there's a beautiful tree right here. It doesn't do it justice till you get down in front of it. And I know, wind. This is real life. Turn down the volume if you don't like the wind. That one, I can't put my arms around. It's probably got a 4-foot circumference. They are deep red all the way to the core. Those are the cedars that make good lumber. So this one tree, I mean, that's a good one. My goodness, I'm gonna get, looks like about a 28-foot log out of that. I might get 3 10-footers. It's a tall tree. It's over 40 feet. Yeah. Got her all trimmed up, ready for Johnny to push out. So he pushes them out, and then when he does, he pushes them up there on that hill where I can get the log cut out. And then he takes the log up there in a log pile, and then all this brush, we're gonna kick off over the hill right here and leave that for the deer habitat and bunnies and whatever else wants to hide down in there. Folks, it's really dry. My goodness. You don't see any moisture here. Well, right here you do. There's a little bit. But we're gonna get some seed on this, get our hay unrolled as soon as we get all these trees out of here. But Johnny definitely has his work cut out for him. Thorn trees, my goodness, have we got thorn trees. See, this one made a pretty good log. I mean, it's solid. Solid all the way through. I got my trusty steel chainsaw. And so, 16-inch bar, I mean, it cranks. You can't dog it down. You do have to be careful when you're cutting these trees, though. The limbs and stuff, they can kick back and they can leave a knot on your shin. Here's the most dangerous part right here. When you cut that off, you want to get a screwdriver wire brush or something and get all that dirt back, because that dirt will absolutely eat your chain. You wouldn't think dirt would dull your chain, but boy, you get the tip of your chain down in dirt, it's like cutting 20 logs. It's dull, and it does it immediately. He's got a lot of brush here to push out. He'll snake this log out of there, and then everything in here is just plain pushing. It's amazing. I mean, he'll make a cut on the back side of that tree right there, and he'll get his blade clear up there, and then he just puts a weight. He's got a 13,000 pound skid steer. It's the largest one Kubota makes, and he'll raise it up on it, and pow, down it goes. Yep. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. He's still got 14 more to push out, and he's probably already pushed out, I don't know, I bet you close to 20. We're gonna have some really good milling. But folks, here's the deal. These cedars, I cut one a while ago, and it was pithy already in the middle. So I'm gonna have to cut back. You know, I'll just keep cutting off the trunk until I get to solid. And you basically lost the market value of your cedar. It's not this one. Where was it? Here it is. I bet it's over here. He's doing a number out here. This is solid thorn trees, folks. Solid. There's another big old stump. I think the pithy one's right here. Where is it? Of course, I can't move that stump. I think it's this one. Maybe it was this one over here. Yeah, here it is. So folks, see that right there? So this tree is dead, or it was dying. It still had green blade or green limbs on it, but the bottom third or half of this tree, all the limbs on it were already dead. And so it's up to you. I mean, if you want to capture the value of your cedar, you better cut them when they're 50 years old and they get this kind of diameter. If you don't, they're just going to fall over and rot. And you're not going to capture any of this value in that lumber. It is a renewable resource. There's a bunch of them down in there that I left that aren't quite big enough. Maybe in 20 years, we'll come up in 10 years, whatever. We'll get some of the rest of these. But right now, we're just going after what's right up here on top of this hill. So I just wanted to, a lot of people say, well, I'm going to leave the cedars. Well, you can leave them, but they're going to die when they get a certain age, and then you don't get anything from them. Nothing. They just fall on the ground. I guess you do get organic matter, but to me, if you can mill that lumber, you got more cedars growing. It's kind of like a garden. You're going to plant them. Why aren't you going to harvest some of the fruit? So that's what we're doing here. We're harvesting the fruit, and we're going to have a whole barn full of beautiful cedar lumber. I love milling cedar because it smells so good. Here's our nemesis right here. That whole pile right there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Look at them things. How would you like to try and climb that tree? Probably not going to happen. Yeah, probably not going to happen. So that whole thing's coming out of there. It's amazing what Johnny can push with that skid steer. I mean, it never ceases to amaze me. When he gets the roots cut and he gets his weight on there, golly, he can push a big tree down. Somebody said the other day, well, he's got the wrong tool for the job. And Johnny and I were kidding each other. I told him, we had a guy comment. I love your all's comments. Don't think I'm picking on you. I'm not. But Johnny and I were discussing that guy's comment. Johnny's got the wrong tool. He needs a big ass big old hot lift in there. And Johnny said, no, we don't need a big high lift in here. you're gonna tear the bejeebers out of this ground. See that little skid steer? He's got rubber tracks on it. It's faster than it's a whole lot faster than a high lift. It's just more versatile. It doesn't tear up the land. If he makes a hole, he can fill it in. He doesn't leave big old ruts wherever he goes. So he's got the right tool. If he had a great big high lift, he would probably bust these trees. He'd probably bust them. I wouldn't have any trees to mill, and I'm in his way. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out here. Everyone have a good one, and we'll see you next time. I'm gonna see a bunch of y'all at the grading school here in a couple of days. Y'all have safe travels, and we'll see you next time.